Hey guys, today I am going to do a review of the KangerTech Protank II. I went out and I got myself a Kanger Protank II maybe 2 weeks ago, and I really wanted to like this tank, but I'm going to talk a little bit about some problems I've had with it a little bit later on. So this tank, it's very nice looking, in my opinion. It's a very nice looking tank. It's nicely built, as a removable drip tip. So if you're into getting your own drip tips that you switch around on your tanks, this one is compatible with any 510 drip tip. So basically the way it's constructed is you have a base cap that comes off. I currently don't have an atomizer in it, but there we go, I'll get one. So you can screw in an atomizer into the bottom, the atomizer head. You fill it through the bottom of the tank, missing that center hole just around the edges, down those two slots down the side. And then you put on the base cap. This thing is fully disassemblable. So basically you can take off the top, you can take off the bottom, pull the tank out, the center part of the tank out. This is a Pyrex glass tank, which is something I really like about it. If you put citrusy flavors, acidic flavors, stuff like that, they're known to crack plastic tanks. You actually won't have that problem with this because it's made of durable Pyrex. One drawback is if you drop one of these on concrete or something like that, you may end up cracking your tank that way. But overall, it seems to be quite durably built. So that's nice. So the atomizer heads on these, on the Kanger Protank II, is a single coil atomizer head for the tank. It has the little wicks coming out of the side. This is a bottom coil, like I showed you before. It's a bottom coil unit. So how it works is when you take a draw, it is supposed to wick up the juice into these little tiny wicks, which then goes to the coil inside and atomizes or vaporizes the liquid into your vapor. So the atomizer heads on these, I believe, come in 4 different varieties of resistance. You have the low resistance ones, 1.8 ohms. You have the 2.2 ohms, and then you also have 2.4 and 2.5 ohms. So there is some flexibility when you're purchasing these atomizers to kind of fit your vaping style, fit what device you're using. Now onto the problems with this tank. In my case, I've been having some problems with it wicking properly, and so that's why today I have no juice in my tank, and I'm not going to be showing you how it vapes, unfortunately, because I don't want to be wasting my e-juice by putting it into this tank and then having it not work properly. Basically, what has been happening with my tank, I don't know if it's a bad atomizer head or what, but I've seen a lot of other people on the internet complaining about the same thing, is I get a burnt taste, a dry hit off of it after a couple of draws off of it. And something like my Aspire, which I'll review in a little bit, does not have the same problem. It's also a bottom coil tank, and I don't get dry hits on it very often. So I'll get dry hits on this, and if I don't get dry hits, I have a burnt taste, kind of a burnt undertone underneath the flavor of the juice. So it's coloring the flavor of the juice, and I don't like that about it. So some potential reasons why this problem's occurring that I think are either these little wicks that they've put in there, they've stuffed too many in there, and they're not allowing the juice to get in, or also maybe these wicks, the wick that they're using, the material that they're using, just isn't working very efficiently and isn't getting enough e-juice into the tank. I'm using a 70/30 PGVG juice, which is, you know, a pretty common juice. It's not very thick. It's not too thick. I wouldn't think that there would be a wicking issue. I've never had wicking issues with the juice that I use. So why that's happening, I'm not sure. Another potential thing is that there's an airflow problem. So where that airflow problem is, if it is an airflow problem, I'm not sure. But basically, when you take a draw off of your Protank, it's supposed to suck the juice into the little chamber in there where the coil is. So maybe if there's an airflow problem, it is not getting the juice in there fast enough and enough of it to get a good consistent vape without any dry hits or a burnt flavor. So basically, online on ECF and other places, I've seen some suggestions to potentially fix the problem with these heads. So basically, one of them is you take off the little rubber gasket that goes and sits down over the wicks. Take it off and you flip it around. And that is supposed to get it out of the way of the wicks and kind of leave a little gap around them to let the e-juice get in. Unfortunately, this fix didn't work for me. I tried it both ways around and I still had the same problem. So I'm thinking that that probably isn't the issue in my case. And another fix, which is commonly recommended, is let's see if I can get it off, is you pull off the little stack on here, that little stack, and you take out your flavor wicks, which are basically, well, which are these wicks. They're kind of called flavor wicks by a bunch of people, and you just take out one or both of your flavor wicks in there, and that might let more e-juice get in. But I also tried that. I took out the top flavor wick, and I still either had the same burnt taste, or it just flooded and gurgled and started leaking out the connector end into the connector on my PV. So it was the same, same problematic situation. So far, I don't really know how to fix it. If you have any comments on how I could fix it, or if there's a new version of the atomizer heads that have been released, leave a comment below. That would be appreciated. But overall, it's got decent build quality. It looks very nice. You've got the changeable drip tips. I haven't had any problems with the build quality on it, but the vape quality is kind of subpar right now, which is unfortunate. I don't know if maybe it's just that I've got a couple of bad heads. I know that happens every now and then. You just get a couple of bad ones. These are the 2.2 ohm coils. I've tried it at lower voltage, and it still either burns, or you get it to the point where it's so low that you're not getting much vapor. So I don't know what to do to fix it, but I'm unfortunately not going to be able to give my recommendation on this right now, just because of the problems I've been having with it and the problems I've seen other people having with it. There are a lot of people that do like these tanks and they say they vape well, but they might be having some quality issues at Kanger with some of their heads coming out of the factory and not performing properly. So anyway, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, like the video if you like the video, and I'll see you next time. Happy vaping.